Britain views itself as the best in scaffolding in the world, and it's such an antiquated view.
As of this year, my second year returning to the race, we put through 109 children through their entire education.
I don't think people grasp the fact that the average scaffolder at 50 is knackered.
I attempted to run the Tucker Trail race in Ireland, which is an 80-kilometre mountain race with 3,000 metres of elevation gain. A grueling 10 out of 10 extreme difficulty race.
The opportunities to go abroad, if you bother to learn the system, you've got those opportunities. If you're very rigid in tube and fitting, you're limited on what countries you can go to. Like, literally, it's a handful.
Turn one.
Hi, welcome to the surgery. It's me, Alan, Dr. Scaffold. Today we have Conor O'Brien from Ireland, who's a scaffolder, project manager, etc. Hello, Conor, you all right?
All good, mate. Great to catch up with you again.
Yeah. Connor's going to be discussing scaffolding, obviously, because this is a Scaffold podcast, but he's also a lunatic who runs marathons, which we will get onto because they're not normal marathons and it's not normal to do it, but it's amazing. So you're a scaffolder. You're back in Ireland now at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been back since the end of January, and I've been in and around the scaffolding industry since 2013. Kind of following my dad's footstep in the job. He's been with the same firm for nearly 30 years. Advanced scaffolder into a safety officer, supervisor, foreman, all that good stuff. And yeah, I kind of went a different path and travelled with the job between Australia, Canada, America, and Germany and Europe. So it's been very good to me. It's been very, very good to me.
Yeah, well, that's the thing straight away. So you've travelled the world scaffolding. So what's the differences? Because obviously, like you said, Canada, Australia, Germany, Ireland.
I just think, especially in Australia and Canada, there's a stronger unity with the unions within the scaffolding industry. People are looked after a bit more when it comes to benefits with, healthcare, pension, physio, massage therapy, even counselling for people. Like, everything is there on the doorstep, and it's very attainable very quickly. There's not a big waiting list. There's not a delay with getting what you need when you need it. It's kind of seems to be there straight away. So I did enjoy that aspect, especially as in Canada as an athlete trying to do the running on the side, but then being reimbursed. I think it was up to maybe 90 to 95% of all medical, all massage therapy, physio.
Wow.
I think it went to a stage where they were giving, I think you had about $400 in sunglasses every 2 years. And it was just a fantastic system. I think we were paying $4 an hour for every hour we worked into our union pension in Canada, which was amazing. So that was very good to me. And I just feel like there's a lot more career path possibilities for scaffolders when you do go abroad versus being in Ireland and the UK. It can be a bit longer or strenuous to start climbing a ladder, even if you wanted to, or someone was very capable. It seems to be there's a bit of it just takes longer, Yeah,
definitely. I mean, so Brandon is now the president of the Canadian Access Association. I'm going to see him in Nashville next month, and I've been talking to him, and they've got some really good ideas. I think part of, so like you say, you travel the world, you've got different countries have different options, different ways of working. Like particularly, I'm in Britain quite a lot of the time. Britain views itself as the best in scaffolding in the world, and it's such an antiquated view. I'm really sorry, Britain, but you're not at the head of anything, as far as I can see. Other countries do things really well. So Denmark do amazing things with manual handling. The union's strong there. That the scaffolders, really looked after. They try and avoid and prolong the career of the scaffolder. Like you said, Canada, they're obviously doing amazing work to prolong the career of the scaffolder. And I think, Ireland and Britain are sort of fallen behind. But LOETB, obviously, is slightly different. Their apprenticeship's amazing. They're waking up and growing. But Britain's just like this, I don't know, almost like a sleeping dinosaur. And we are so deluded where we think we are the best all the time in Britain. I think, because obviously I travel abroad, etc., and I work different countries sometimes. I think as well, the attitude, I look around and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, this is better or this is better. So, I get that. But then my perception as well, which is right or wrong, Simon Boys, Australia, all the lads over there. I always think Australia is slightly behind in its skills levels, etc. And they've had major problems with accidents over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
They're trying to change it, but is it that Australia is so far behind, or is it just the way it's perceived?
The difference for me was, all right, so in Canada, you don't claim this journeyman advanced scaffolder title unless you have the previous CV experience to back it up. In Australia, the problem is a backpacker from Europe, from Ireland or the UK, who's never scaffolded before, can arrive there, get their white card, get their high risk license, and go and do a 3-week scaffolding course and be an advanced scaffolder and walk straight onto a mine site. So that's the problem with the Australian setup, in my eyes, and it's a very big one. And until they change that, they're going to continue to have problems over there with health and safety.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Well, I think you do your basic ticket over there in about a week. There's an intermediate ticket and then the advanced ticket. Don't quote me on how long each one is, but it's only a couple of weeks.
Blimey.
I believe they've changed some laws in the last few years, so even if someone from the UK goes over with a gold advanced card or an advanced ticket from Ireland or Europe, they still actually have to resit training and go through the process now to get onto the big projects. I mean, there's going to be scaffolders working on commercial projects, residential projects, maybe without having gone through that retraining process. But most of the time now, to get onto the big oil and gas, FIFO, working on the rigs in Australia, you're going to have to go and redo that training no matter how much years of experience you have in the background.
Yeah. I mean, if you're investing 3-4 weeks, say, and you've travelled all the way there, and you've actually left the country you're from, and you've gone there, that's not a major worry, especially if you're sponsored, etc. But yeah, if that's the backpacker going straight to being an advanced scout, that's scary that's allowed. Obviously, at least they've tried to wake up and change something then, because before it was even worse, wasn't it? So like that, everything takes time, and people have to sort of have accidents to realise that maybe this isn't working. I know that sounds horrendous, but that people do learn through experience, whether it's good or bad. So, fair play to them for trying to change things. I mean, the Canadian model sounds amazing with the pension and everything. That's aspirational wise for a scaffolder. I think that's somewhere that obviously would immediately go on your list, wouldn't it? I mean, just from that little conversation, it's top of my list.
Because I did have a thread on this on LinkedIn recently, kind of the advising people. All right, so any young scaffolders who've just done their training in Ireland or the UK or Europe who wanted to make the move to Australia or Canada, just to draw a line down the middle and actually start comparing both. Because if you do go to Australia on a 2-year working holiday visa or a 1-year working holiday visa, you're going to have to spend those first couple of weeks or months retraining and getting your ticket swapped over, which costs a lot of money. A lot of the firms aren't going to put you through that training for free unless they know you're able. Whereas if you go to Canada and you've got experience on a CV with references, you can be boots on the ground within a week. That it's a lot quicker to get up and running in Canada than it is to get to Australia and be on a site straight away. Essentially.
Yeah, and they're all, again, they're different from like UK and Ireland in the fact that because they're such large countries, a lot of people can't grasp it, but the states, each individual province, state, whatever, have their own rules. Like we've got this mad, everybody wants now, well, not everybody, but people are banging a drum for a global scaffolding standard and all that, and it'll never work because each province and state is different. But if they've got things like a proper pension and you're paying into it, for a scaffolder, not a scaffolding contractor, but for a scaffolder, that's brilliant. Because you don't have that in other countries. So in the UK, we get the government take a bit of money off us for a pension, doesn't matter what your job is. But realistically, it's not a decent pension at the end, and the scaffolder's career is so short anyway. I don't think people grasp the fact that the average scaffolder at 50 is knackered. I'm saying that people don't, but obviously they've looked at it and grasped it, so that's good. And Germany, you worked in Germany, obviously, because I've seen you in Germany.
I did. I had originally come back from a 3-year pipeline project in Westcan out of the 4.5 years I was there in Canada, and that was brilliant. And then I'd come back to Ireland, and I had originally signed a sponsorship to go work for a company called Scaff West in Perth, where I'd lived previously. But at the last minute, Dave Brown had hit me up on LinkedIn and gave me an amazing opportunity in Germany for the year and a bit I was there, and that was fantastic. Really helped me step up in my career and kind of put me in a position where now I don't want to take a back step on the tools. I want to stay supervising and managing and project management, operational role and whatnot. So that was fantastic, and the regulations in Germany can be quite rugged as well. So that was crazy, just going between the laws in Germany, Netherlands, and France all simultaneously, while trying to stick to the UK system essentially. So that was a fantastic experience as well, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean the Meister category, etc. in Germany, like again, it's just an amazing idea. It's an amazing principle. You have to go to college, you have to go to university, basically to become a Meister. And I just think that's a level we haven't got. Ireland haven't got it. UK haven't got it. Again, right or wrong, if you cherry pick the best of every country around the world, put them all together, and that was like then somehow made into a training program, you'd have the greatest scaffolders in the world, and the country would, absolutely boom. I know there's politics involved with travel anyway, so you're very lucky. You're in Europe, I'm not. So for you to work in Europe's easy now, isn't it? For me, it's a lot harder. I have to get nomad visas and all sorts of weirdness, but I love working in Europe. Politics aside of Brexit and all the crap, I actually enjoy working in Europe. I like European scaffolders. I think they, some of them are a bit gruff because, sort of culturally, the way they, but they're still scaffolders. And a lot of them are at a technical level that people don't realise because, it's hammer bashing. Like that does my head in all the time. That. I think layer is a brilliant system. I think ring lock generally is just needs to be developed to be used more in countries like Britain and Ireland, where we fell behind. I mean, Ireland's obviously, quick stage cup lock. Scotland's got both of them as well. We're just these two islands are so far behind, and it just frustrates me.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I started using I started using ring lock for the first time in early 2020. It would have been some sort of knockoff of layer, but still very good, and did some amazing work with a company called Matacana. And then I transitioned to the unionized company with Westcan, where we were using brand new layer from Stuttgart that was coming out on boats, and it was just unbelievable. Rolling hangers on these pipeline projects, and just the list was on and on. It was some of the best equipment I've ever used. But personally, it's the way of the future, and now with Scaff Champs pushing layer and some of the biggest design jobs that we see on Scaff Mag, going through other organisations, it's going to be layer, it's going to be ring lock, it's going to be APAC, it's going to be Plosio. All these ring lock companies seem to be thriving, and that's the way it's going to go. I mean, I'm not saying dump tube and fitting because tube and fitting is so versatile. I just think we need to change our attitude. I say it online and everything. Just get to the point where it's 20-30% tube and fitting, where the little bits you don't have to buy every component. Because sometimes the problem with the system is the price for the component. Let's be realistic. It comes down to money. You can do that quicker in tube and fitting with bores, etc. But for most scaffolds, there isn't anything you can't do in system now. And I know a lot of people don't grasp how far system has come, particularly, I'd say probably in the last 15 years. What used to be a one-off component has actually now gone into the catalogue for these companies, like doing splays is so easy now. Even in the cup system, Hacky, you can do a splay. Like I've seen them on, they're as good as anything. But I also think it's still a skill you've got to learn. Yeah.
And if your mindset says no, it's very difficult to learn. And I think we do need to develop as people, scaffolders, and continue to adapt. And it's almost like even the young people. So like, obviously I'm so old, everyone's younger than me, but literally youngsters, I see youngsters on site, 25 stuff. Oh, you do that hammer bashing. It's like, you're 25, what are you talking about, mate? You should be trying it. Oh, no, I only do tube and fitting, mate. Okay, right, cool. How long have you been doing it? 2 years. Brilliant. You've got plenty of time, mate. But it's, I don't
It's
know
funny
why
we
it's
can't
so
do more.
rigid.
Yeah.
It's,
No, I couldn't agree more. And they don't realise the new components with innovation with system as well. It comes down to the smallest mill, and it's they're oblivious to that. They just think it's going to be straight runs of system, da da da.
yeah,
Nah,
yeah, yeah.
it's some of the new innovation with fittings and just specialized fittings. It's insane how far it's come the last few years, and each company credit to their own. There's things that maybe Pelosi and APAC may be doing that Layer aren't doing yet, but then there's things that Layer are doing that
Yeah, yeah.
nobody's doing. So it's brilliant.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's that mindset that just needs to change. I don't know if it will change in this country or not. I mean, that's my only worry. But like we said, the opportunities to go abroad, if you bother to learn the system, you've got those opportunities. If you're very rigid in tube and fitting, you're limited on what countries you can go to. Like literally,
100%.
it's a handful.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. There's no foreign companies using tube and fitting in Europe that I've seen. It's UK companies coming over that are using both.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm yet to meet a French, German, Italian scaffolder that was strictly doing any bit of tube and fitting. It was just all systems. So I think that kind of says it all. And they should all be trying to do a bit of both anyway. Just the
Yeah, the Italians aren't always the best example with tube and fitting because that 4-bolt double thing they use is appalling. They need to get rid of that. They are horrendous, but sorry Italians, but they are. Yeah, they're not good. But yeah, so the ring lock, etc. You're a system scaffolder. You've moved into project management, etc. What are you doing right now? What's your plan? Where are you heading in Ireland?
currently have been on a career break since since February essentially. Have done eight plus years abroad now between the four countries I was living in, and I'm very lucky to be pushing 31 years of age with three grandparents left. Spending more time with my parents after being away for so long because my only other sibling is abroad in Australia, and was just had some personal goal pursuits with the charity, with the running, and that was kind of what I was focused on. When I did come back in February, did a bit of upskill straight away. There was some temporary works courses, awareness courses that were sent to me by a friend, Billy Davis, and I just kind of pursued them early just to gain some extra certificates. And in the meantime, I've just kind of chatted with a lot of people, to be honest, chatted with a lot of different companies about potential work opportunities, but just been sitting back really, doing the personal goal pursuits of the running and waiting for the right job opportunity, I guess.
Yeah. So let's get on to the madness then. You've hit upon it there. Anyone who doesn't know, like, it's two you've done now, these 24-hour ones in Bali, isn't it?
No, but Bali's actually a bit less. I have done two 24-hour events,
Right.
but Bali is a 50-mile race, which is about 80 kilometers, coast to coast through the night. It's a unforgiving, relentless course, but you're doing it for a cause that is unmatched. And this special charity called the Bali Children Foundation have been operational now for many, many years, but only in the last year they've actually hit a $1 million milestone, and this is completely non-profit. As of this year, my second year returning to the race, we put through 109 children through their entire education. This is a place in North Bali where $50 a month is the average salary of a family with kids. So, when you're raising, I think this year we did $144,000 this year. So, it's a tremendous cause, and I've been running for that charity now since 2024 and will continue to do so, having sponsored children out there,
So you can do it next year?
I would say so, yeah. I took a 2-year break in between the last run, but I definitely have this attachment now, having one-to-one relationships with some of the students, knowing teachers out there, knowing the directors of these organisations. It's just something I feel passionate
Personal.
about. Yeah, personal level, yeah.
Yeah. You've invested in it. That's great. The 24, so you've done, I get so confused by all this because it just seems insanity to me. I remember I'm a person who has injections in his knees to walk. So running marathons just doesn't, but you've done 24 hours as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I've done the longest I've ran is the same race twice. So I originally did it in 2019. It's called the Conor 100, and then I went back and did it last August.
Yeah.
When I first did this race, I was trying to raise money for something you're very passionate about, is the men's mental health. This company in Ireland called PT1 for suicide awareness. I like many others, have lost close friends
Yeah.
and family and people
Yeah,
to
yeah.
suicide. Right, so I remember I was working on the tools on a pharmaceutical plant expansion at the time, and I had a very, very, very demanding, hard-working foreman at the time. So he was putting me through my paces every single day, and when he knew I found out when he knew I signed up for this race, being a sports star in his day and all this, he was just he couldn't believe it, and he was just every day like, bring this amount of gear up these stairs, and he knew I had this big race coming up, and he was just like, there's no way you're going to be able to do this. And do you know what, he actually drove me on, because I was thinking of him for that entire 24 hours. I was like, there's no way I can quit, I have to finish this race. And I think I raised about maybe €2,500-3,000 at the time for this suicide awareness charity, and that was kind of the start of my ultramarathon journey in 2019, and never looked back. Went to Canada solely for this reason, to run mad races over there, and I've been very fortunate just to be able to do it, because I have a lot of gratitude for my body being able to do this. I know a lot of people sick with diseases and cancers, and people who are unable to do what they might want to do, so I don't take it for granted at all, and I do enjoy it, and everybody's got something. I did team sports my whole life, up until the age of about 21. Maybe took 2 years off, and then just fell in love with running in early 2019, and have continued to run ever since. So it's been fantastic. Yeah.
Well, the madness is, so obviously you came back from Bali. What have you been back from Bali? Is it 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
I've been back from I've been back about 5 weeks now. 5 weeks in
total, right. Yeah. And in that time, tell people what you've done.
So I came back from Bali on I got back on the 26th of May.
Yeah.
And 5 days later, I ran my 8th official marathon in Cork City on fairly bad
as you
days,
do.
I could send you some explicit feet pictures now of how bad my foot was going into this race, but look, it got done, and I finally met my match last week. I attempted to run the Tucker Trail race in Ireland, which is a 80-kilometer mountain race with 3,000 meters of elevation gain. A grueling 10 out of 10 extreme difficulty race, but unfortunately I took a wrong turn about 60 kilometers in, and ended up ascending and descending one of the biggest climbs on the race before being emergency called saying I'd gone off course. So it would have been impossible for me to go all the way back and then still make the checkpoint and come back. So look, it's my first career essential. I didn't finish. I was definitely
after 60 kilometers, not after 6. It's after 60 kilometers that you fucked up. Do you know what I mean? Like literally, that's 2 runs, and you've been back about 4.5 weeks.
Yeah.
You're not right in the head, mate.
No, but listen, I love it, and it just keeps me motivated, and when I've got stuff on the calendar all year to look forward to it, it just gets me in a good headspace,
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, like I love to have a social drink with my people and do all this and that, but the running is what a sport, and the people you meet, it's like scaffolding. Honestly, I know when you say, especially you, Alan, you're a big advocate for like you meet some of the best people in the world through the scaffolding industry. I'm telling you, that ultramarathon community is the same, because it's all you meet all these construction people from different similar backgrounds, and it's just fantastic.
Yeah, and you're always raising money while you're doing it as well. It's not like it's not like a vanity thing, is it? You're out there raising money for charities all the time. You're giving back.
Yeah, but listen, I love to run races with no charity involved as well, and like really push myself. But anytime I've ran with a charity involved, it seems to almost give you an extra edge, because you feel like you're running for something more than yourself. Yeah,
and I think so. Obviously, mental health wise, it's a focus. It helps you clear your problems while you're running or whatever, a process. It gives you something to work towards. It can relieve the stress. Everyone has to have something, and whatever it is, whatever your passion is, etc. If you can focus on that, it actually helps with this. We work in a very hard environment. We know we do. Like, scaffolding is not the easiest job in the world. It's the best job in the world with the best people. It's also got some arseholes, let's be honest. Yeah. No job's perfect. Do you know what I mean? But like I said, you travel the world, so you're traveling the world with marathons. You travel the world with scaffolding. So yeah, like I say, you meet some fantastic people. You know, I'm literally back from Vilnius. I don't know, 2.5 weeks, and I'm already missing it. Scaff Champ might be dead now, so that's another minor problem. Got to find some yearly pilgrimage for that. I'm going to Nashville the end of next month for the SAIA conference. You know, the madness is for me. I'm talking scaffolding like 24 hours a day for a week at a time, and I love it. I'm slightly wired wrong, I'm sure. You know, there's probably scaffolders watching this going, fuck that. I have enough problems doing 8 hours a day. But, you know, like, it's whatever your passion is. But if it keeps this right, it can't be wrong.
No, I agree.
Rocket science. Obviously, I talk about rocket science a lot, not scaffolding. Thank you very much to all the lovely people for your lovely comments about my scruffiness, my ridiculous hair, how I can't be a scaffolder because I need a haircut, etc, etc. All the lovely things, all the messages. Let me just explain the rocket science. I'm so sorry. I thought having your head shaved for charity was easy to understand. Obviously not. So I've had to consult NASA. They're going to get a razor and shave my head, and I raise money for mental health awareness. That's why my hair hasn't been cut and is growing long. I'm so sorry that was so hard to understand. So all you lovely people behind the screens, you don't need to keep messaging me. You don't need to keep using all these expletives and telling me how bad my hair is. It will be sorted, and we'll raise money for mental health.